Hello everyone, my name is Nicoya, and this is the Korg Monologue. And as you can see by looking at the display here, it is kind of haunted. The BPM keeps changing, the tuning of the oscillator keeps changing. I think the attack and intensity probably keep changing. A bunch of this stuff is changing when it shouldn't be, like I'm not touching the knobs. Even if I touch the knobs, it's like not affecting it. So we're going to dig into that, find out why that's going on. We're also going to look at the master volume, which if I play a note here, is sounding pretty quiet. And protect your ears. Whew, that is quite a volume control, so we're going to be fixing that too. So to get started, let's dig into this. Oh, before I get too deep into this, I should remember to remove all the knobs. Now these knobs are a little on the sticky side, so I'll probably try to clean that off at some later point. Now, an interesting symptom that we can observe right away here is that, now I have my speaker turned all the way up. If I approach the volume knob and actually touch it, I'm getting quite a bit of noise out of there. And that's not supposed to happen. If I turn it all the way down, suddenly the noise goes away, and that's a clue. So to get further into this, we need to take all of these nuts off, and let's see if I can remember what size they are. Is it going to be 11? Maybe. 10? 10 feels good. Actually, I'm trying to remember. Do I take these off first, or do I take off these first? Let me remember. I think I take off these screws first. Let me do that. We are going to need this plate off as well, but we'll try to remember to do things in the right order. So long screw, so long dark screw, a short dark screw, don't play. And silver screws everywhere else, I believe. All right, do I need to take these out first? Yeah, okay, I can take this out. And which of those are stuck to the bottom? I think both of them. There's one and the other. Yes, both of them. Okay. Now, there's a cord on the back here. And then there's the other cord here, which we don't actually need to take off, at least not just yet. So, all right, we need to take this off from the back. That's why I need this out. Okay. So, just remembering how I get in here, because it's been a minute since I took this off and did the initial diagnosis. But we do need these nuts off, so let's get back to that. And now I think I take these ones out. Those are very short black screws. There we go. And then let me see how I can drop all these on the ground. This part is unfortunately a little bit annoying. And these needle nose pliers are slightly magnetic, which is very annoying. We don't want to forget any of these. Of course, it's not magnetic enough to take the washers out, but whatever. You'll just go ahead and dump those. All right, did we miss any? Oh, there's one there. There we go. That looks good. Now, you'll go on the back here and undo a bunch more screws. Actually, you know what? I'm going to go all the way to unplugging this to give myself a little bit more room. There we go. So now, oh, I did miss another one. Well, good thing I turned that off. So now the screw's on the back. And I think these ones, no, those ones go in. Okay. Yeah. So I do need these ones out too. We'll get to them in a second. So these ones are silver and short. How are we doing so far? Doing pretty good. All right, grab these ones here. These ones are the same, silver and short. Good. That makes my life a little easier. We will disconnect the display. There we go. Now we can just lift this right out. And you might be able to see why our tempo control wasn't working. And in fact, this is a story not just of the tempo control being broken clean in half, but a number of these, which I have conveniently marked with black Sharpie, are also broken. So I'm going to demonstrate quickly how to diagnose that they are broken and what that looks like on, for example, a multimeter or something. So let me get set up for that and I will show you. All right, plug the board back in here and I've got my meter going in voltage range. So we have a dead short, then we're just seeing 0 volts. And if we measure across any one of the potentiometers, we should see around 3.3. Get this the right way around. So maybe not quite 3.3, but around that amount. And even the one that's missing here, we still see the same amount. So what we're looking for here is when we go onto the center pin, we should see some value between 0 and 3 volts. And in this case, we're seeing some value, but it's kind of bouncing around because obviously this is not connected to a potentiometer because the potentiometer is over here. If we go over here to this one, which is a good one, we can see that we have 53 millivolts, and we turn this up, we get 94, 97, 2 volts, 2.1, 2.6, 3.1 volts. We turn it back down, we see it very linearly goes through the voltages. If we're at the halfway point, we're at 1.4 volts. So all of this looks good. So this is a good potentiometer here. I'll set that back to the middle. Now the next one over here, we are at around the middle, and you can see I marked this one as bad already. And we have 2.4 volts, 3 volts. Why do we have all that, right? Well, that's because this potentiometer is broken. In fact, it is broken sort of right around here. And so there's no actual connectivity between the center pin that we're measuring and either of the end pins. And so, in fact, this one might be connected to like one of the end pins, like the high end pin, maybe not. But you can see as we come around here, as we come back down to the bottom, it suddenly jumps to 0. And that's because we're actually crossing over the broken point. So there is like an arc-shaped trace of carbon on here. And if it's broken across here, then the wiper in the middle that makes contact, like if it jumps across that break, then now it's connected between here and here. But we go up a little, it gets into this zone where it's not connected to anything. And so that's what I've done. I've gone through here. All the ones in this row are fine. Half of the ones, more than half, I guess. Let's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of them. Well, 6, I guess, in this row are completely gone. And so I think what happened is that, someone dropped this or whatever, and it hit the knobs this way or something and caused this breakage. So that's how we figure out which ones are broken and which ones aren't. And obviously, you know, if we go onto this one, we'll see the same thing on the scope, on my multimeter here, where it's like we're in the middle, but it's like 0.69, and we turn it down and it doesn't change, and we turn it up, and then suddenly it's jumping to 3 volts. So this is not a functional potentiometer. And you know, the same thing on the volume control, which I diagnosed. And this is also why the sound output was doing such strange things. Like when I touched it, we were getting noise out of it, and when I jumped to the top, suddenly it was full blast. And the reason for that is because in the middle position here, this wiper here is like being capacitively coupled to me, and noise is going in through me, through the shaft of the potentiometer, and going into this, what is now a high impedance node, which is going into the output amplifier and coming out the back here. And so that's why we're getting that weird noise when I was grabbing this. So I need to pull out the remains of these potentiometers. So I'm going to heat up my desoldering iron and get to that. All right, so desoldering, let's get to it. Have I mentioned that I love this thing? Because I really do. I still soldered a little bit in there. Still got a little bit left on that one. Boy, who would have thought that this potentiometer would put up the most fight, considering that it's already 90% removed. There we go. And just for completeness, let's remove the rest of this potentiometer. Now, I had caught a peek of this earlier. There's actually some, not going to show up on camera. There's actually some slight cracking around here and around here. And so I think that is very indicative that we have had quite a strong impact on the top of this device. So we have a set of replacement potentiometers. This one was from Synth. And I think I overpaid for these, but I'm hoping that they will be good quality. And they feel nice. And they'll be like basically exactly a replacement. Yeah, I mean, they feel exactly the same. So because these need to be lined up with the front panel, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to stick these in dry. And then I'm going to see if I can actually get all the legs lined up first. I'm going to stick these in dry, and then I'm going to bolt them to the front panel, and then I'm going to solder them, so that way they should end up all exactly aligned. And I won't have to worry if they're like, you know, to the left or the right or up or down or whatever. So we'll see how well that works. May or may not, I don't know. We're both on this adventure together. And there we go. And then I believe this spring goes onto here, like that. Yes. And then this should go down over the top. And I have to make sure that the cable for the display goes through. I guess on the side. There we go. All right, so I'm going to screw these back down now so that everything is in its place, and I will meet you back here in a moment. All right, everything is screwed back into place now. I managed to not lose any washers despite my best efforts trying to. If we flip this over here, we still need to go ahead and solder these in here, so that's what we're going to do next. So I got my solder, Got my soldering iron, and let's do it. And we'll take a look at those. They are all looking lovely. So now we can get this board back into the synth. So that will be that way. By the way, remember to plug in the display when you are putting this back together, or you will have a panic attack when nothing shows up. So, sorry, you can't see under here, but I am plugging in the main cable, which is a little bit tricky. It doesn't have a lot of slack. And then the audio cable, which just goes to the volume potentiometer here. So at this point, I should be able to plug it in and turn it on, and it should no longer be haunted. And there we go. We are no longer seeing the crazy BPM behavior. The BPM knob works fine. Let's see all the other knobs. That one doesn't change display, but whatever. I think this one will change. Yeah, that's in motion view. Hang on, let me get out of that view for a second. If I can remember what all these knobs do. Let me see. Exit. How do we get back into the mode we were in before, where it was showing us the display? Oh, hang on. There we go. That's what I was needing. It's this one here, of course. So, let me see. That one, no, it was this one here. Yeah, so this one was the tuning. So it's now working properly. We're going from -12, 0, +12, so it's fine. This one, I think we didn't replace that one. I can't remember now. But all of these should be working fine. It's no longer haunted. It is displaying its display correctly. I'm gonna have to actually learn how to use this now and record a demo for you guys so you can actually hear it when it's working properly. So let me do a little practice and I'll get to that. And also, put this back together so it's not just sitting here. All right, so we're looking pretty clean and put back together here. I went ahead and washed the faceplate and the keys here, and I will deal with the sticky knobs at some point in the future. If we actually, let me see if I can get this on camera. Oop, wrong side. Now, if we actually look at the remains of the potentiometer here, let me see if I can zoom that in for you. You can see the tracks there are where they connect to the pins and where they're broken off. And that was basically what was preventing us from getting any conductivity. So, obviously if the body of the potentiometer is not connected here, then the wiper inside really can't do anything to conduct the electricity back and forth. So that is what we fixed. So, play a little demo for you, and I'll probably do about 15 takes before I get this to even be remotely listenable. So let's do that. And I guess that wasn't too bad. I still need to work on my tempo. I'm better at fixing these synths. I'm better at God damn, I'm better at like actually fixing synths than I am at speaking, and also better than I am at playing. But I managed, and you got to hear what it sort of sounds like, and so that's pretty cool. So I hope you enjoyed this exorcism of this synthesizer here, and hope you learned something. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I will see you on the next one.